Good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. So just got a few things here on the docket. For some reason, the Wyoming Department of Health hasn't updated their COVID numbers, so I'm just gonna go over the global numbers. But to start it off, the Mountain West postpones 2020 fall sports indefinitely. I saw today they're looking at doing something in the spring. But the Mountain West announced the indefinite postponement of all scheduled fall sports contests and Mountain West championship events in response to ongoing challenges with the effective mitigation and management of COVID-19 virus in conjunction with athletic competition. That was a long sentence. The Mountain West Board of Directors prioritized, can't read today, the physical and mental health and well-being of the conference's student athletes and overall campus communities in its decisions, as it has done throughout the course of the pandemic. The sports will include men and women's cross country, football, women's soccer, women's volleyball. And it said in parentheses here, it says, with the exception of unique circumstances involved with the military service academics. So I don't know exactly what that means. The Mountain West will begin to explore the feasibility of rescheduling fall sports competitions, including the possibility of those sports competing in the spring, and develop options for consideration. Athletically related activities and training opportunities for enrolled student athletes will also be evaluated consistent with the NCAA legislation and guidance, as well as state, local, and campus parameters. Nothing is more important than the health and well-being of our students, student athletes, coaches, faculty, staff, and overall communities, said Dr. Mary Papazen. Sorry, I hope I said her name correctly. President of San Jose State University and chair of the Mountain West Board of Directors. Through the hard work of many over the past several months, the conference made every effort to create an opportunity for our student athletes to compete, and we empathize with the disappointment this creates for everyone associated with the programs. The best interests of our students and student athletes will remain our focus, and we will persist in our efforts to forge a viable and responsible path forward. I can't read today. But, kind of saw it coming when the MAC closed down or decided to postpone all their fall sports. I kind of saw this coming. So I'm not surprised by it. Disappointed as a senior. Was hoping to get to possibly see a few more Wyoming football games. But you gotta understand it. They're trying to keep everybody safe. So we'll see what happens going forward. We'll see what they decide to do. But on to the next story here. Let's see. Uinta County man becomes Wyoming's 29th coronavirus fatality. Out of Cheyenne, Wyoming's total number of deaths associated with COVID has grown with the death of a Uinta County man who previously tested positive for the virus, according to Wyoming Department of Health. The older adult male had health conditions recognized as putting patients at higher risk of serious illness related to COVID-19 and had been hospitalized. Among Wyoming residents, there has now been 29 coronavirus-related deaths. There's 2,565 lab-confirmed cases, 477 positive or probable. Jeez, it's just not my day today. Deaths among Wyoming residents are added. What just happened? I tried to exit out of a little pop-up screen. It's done it 3 times on me. Every time I hit the exit, it takes me to the... Deaths among Wyoming residents are added to the state coronavirus-related death total based on official death certificate information. If the disease did not contribute to the person's death, it is not reflected in Wyoming's numbers. So, got another death. I was going to cover the Wyoming numbers because I thought it was maybe important. It was probably important because we had a gentleman pass away. But they have not updated, and I have other things that I have to work on. So I didn't have much time just to wait around. All right. Inaction by Congress leaves states to pay for election costs. This is out of Atlanta, and this is by the Associated Press. Congress' failure so far to pass another round of coronavirus aid leaves states and local officials on their own to deal with the soaring costs of holding a presidential election amid a deadly pandemic. That could leave them scrambling to solve problems that surfaced during the primary session in time for November's election. The coronavirus outbreak has triggered an unprecedented disturbance for election officials across the U.S. They are dealing with staffing shortages and budget constraints while also trying to figure out how to process and flood of absentee ballot requests as more and more states have moved to mail-in balloting as a safer way to vote. This is going to be interesting, I think. This is quite a bit longer. It's a pretty big story. If you guys are interested, it's on therocketminer.com in news. And I read you the title right at the beginning. I'll read it again here for you. Inactions by Congress leaves states to pay for election costs. So if you want to read this, go to the news tab on our website and scroll down just till you see the title, and there you go. It's pretty interesting. I'm interested to see what Wyoming does moving forward with the election coming up in November. I'm curious to see the U.S. numbers for how many people have voted. It's gonna be interesting. Something to do numbers go up with mail-in voting, or do they go down? Because who knows, right? So just to cover global COVID numbers, global cases are at a little over 20.1 million. The U.S. is at 5,130,732 confirmed cases. Deaths is at 738,665. Deaths in the U.S. are at 164,593. But let's see here. Cumulative cases, the world is still kind of on the uptick there. So hopefully we can kind of start to flatten that out or something. But, I'm noticing some gaps here in the U.S. Earlier, the U.S. was just a solid sheet of red, but there's some gaps in here now. That's good. That's all I got for you guys today. So I'll see you guys on Friday, and have a great week.